Right, good afternoon. Let's see how we get on today. So we are back with this lovely Dremel block from Sky that we started yesterday. We started having only seen this one, and then knew there was at least a bit of this one that we were trying to reveal. In trying to reveal this one, turned out there was a bigger, better keel underneath, and the outermost whirl of this broke off. So we also found this one, and after, with all of that going on, it was like, oh, maybe we should approach it from the back to see if we could find the back of this thing, and in doing so found all of the rest of this mess. And so today the goal is to try, the operative word, try, finish breaking off this little remaining section of this outer whirl. Whilst we were doing it yesterday, it broke through there, so we're going to take it a little easier on this section, and then work down all this matrix here to try and see if we can at least reveal more of this bigger gramo underneath. So we'll see how it goes. Mr. Landfill and Jason, good to see you both. Hope you are all well. I'm sure there will be many others popping in. Friday seems to be the busy day, so we'll just have to see how we get on. My volume seems low. Huh. Just see if that's going to do a little better. I wonder if it was the microphone. Sorry about that. Are we better now? I can keep talking if that would help give us a bit more information. Or we just... Yeah, so sorry about that. My microphone, whilst it was on, did not seem to be paired to the camera. Technical challenges, but at least we're there. So yeah, hopefully that works, and apologies if you've missed any of it, but I think you two probably fully understand what's going on with this block that we started yesterday across two different, well, 3 or 4 different streams, but two little hey Cheryl, hope you are all well. But yeah, we'll pick this one up, get going with it, and just see how we can get on with it, and see how we do. It may go brilliantly, it may be terrible, but that is the nature of my preparation. And I'm just gonna actually switch the tip over to a 1.5mm chisel rather than a 2mm chisel, because it allows me to still do the chiseling work, which works quite well with gramos, but a lot less force, hopefully, and a lot more focused force. Yeah, hope everyone is well. I hope I hope everyone's enjoying some cooler weather, at least here in the UK. Yeah, let's get cracking and see how we can do. So yeah, it's always fun hearing people talk about the Michigan Petoskey cans. I was on a tour on, what was it, Friday, Wednesday? I've already lost track of all my days. Whenever it was, yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, and we keep seeing all the Carboniferous corals here, and I keep thinking it would be really good to get a few of them ground down and properly made to look not quite Petoskey kind because they're not hexagonal hexagenaria, but yeah, I think it'd be really useful to do some of the similar processes to some of the corals here. But yeah. And is there a scary crack from behind the Gramo? Yes, kind of. So this big Gramo, well, it depends on which one you want to talking about, is the big one. I think this is the biggest one. That's the one that's still in the rock. But this one, yeah, has got a crack that runs all the way down around the back. I put a lot of super glue down the back of it yesterday, a bit more here, and there is an unfortunate crack running through this, which we saw yesterday, or I saw yesterday as we were finishing up. So glued that as well. They've still got a bit of a break in it, so annoying, but hopefully should be stable now, or as stable as it'll be. The outer whirl came off reasonably well. Unfortunately, it did take a little chunk off this corner. So whilst not the end of the world, it's just a bit of a shame. But I think that's just a function of the fact it broke again whilst we were removing it yesterday. So but no, this ammonite does, yeah, it does have a crack running down the back of it. It is glued in place, at least hopefully for now. There will be some interesting decisions about what happens if this matrix here comes away, or when this matrix here comes away, as the case may be. We will see, because I think a lot of this currently is holding this stably in place. But I wouldn't mind getting rid of at least some, if not all, of this bit up here. Just to make this ammonite sit free, but if it's going to make that whole ammonite fall off, then probably not worth doing. So yeah, at the minute it's it's just there as a stabilizer, and it's the one thing that's worth reminding people is that in general fossils are stable in their rocks. It's when you take them out of their rocks they become unstable, and that is part of the challenge if you're doing preparation, is making sure that what you're doing doesn't destabilize or break all of them, as demonstrated by this one, etc. So yeah, it is a bit of a challenge, trying to do it as carefully as possible. But I'm pretty hopeful that we'll get at least a fairly sizable amount of the underneath one visible underneath this one. So yeah, I think it'll be worthwhile. But then yeah, some final finishing things will be a bit interesting, just to figure out exactly what we're doing. Similarly with bits of this, the amount of matrix that's currently on this side, there's some decisions to be made, because this bit of matrix and some of this may want to come away just to make this ammonite look better as well, or see if we can get any of these bivalves nicely exposed. But yeah, it's all that sort of standard. Have to see it when we get there. But the lump is staying there till we finish prepping the rest of it. So there is a level of, yeah, if the ammonite falls off, you can glue it back together. If the ammonite comes off cleanly, as soon as the ammonites start breaking, though, you end up with problems that they may not go together cleanly unless you've got some magician of a preparator sticking them all back together. So I prefer to keep my ammonites in one piece, and then we can always super heavily glue them and then have a look at removing the lumps. So we'll do the dirty work first before we do the finishing work. So let's get everything exposed and tidied and glued and secure before we start then trying to remove chunks of matrix that are currently holding things in place. But yeah, I would not be upset if we could remove most of this, because I think it would then look nicer as a continuation of all the bits through, and then we might even see a bit of this ammonite. But as I said, this chunk just will stay there whilst we sort out everything else. Funnily, after all of that time keeping this big, at least partial here, and I'm starting to wonder whether or not it gets removed as well. But you're gonna be very careful with saying it, because I just don't know if it'll make it much better. I quite like its presence, but yeah, if it's not complete or there isn't much more there, it doesn't really add too much, and it is getting in the way. But just thinking, if I remove it, does that then make this block inherently unstable? It's already starting to fall apart. So a big chunk of this up here just came apart, which is nice. It makes prep easy in places, but it depends on what our final product is. If we want just ammonites, which is always funny, but yeah, if we want just ammonites, we got to be really good at getting rid of the matrix. But I don't want it just to be just ammonites. I would like some matrix to hold it all together, because it's worth a lot more, both as a prep piece, but also like a sales piece, if there's a bunch of ammonites on it rather than just one or two. So we have to be a little careful we don't make it all fall apart. So far, the ammonites are all staying. Yeah, we've got this to prep down. It looks a bit messy, but this here, we've got sort of this wasn't a bigger whirl of this one that was broken. And so when we've prepped through, you can now start to see the shell of it underneath. And so that needs to come off, but I'll switch tips for it. It's then just deciding what we're doing and trying to figure out what I can do with this one without knocking it off whilst prepping it. And that also is a bit of a challenge. And then yeah, I think if we can, I quite like this shell here. I've managed to keep that one in place even though the rest of the matrix is gone, because that's quite nice just as a not just ammonites piece. That one doesn't look so bad today. Having gone away and come back, it's not screaming at me that I've messed it up in the same way. And then that shell may stay. It's going to be a little bit of tidying to figure out. Just have to see. Just have to see what's what. But yeah, so we'll have a rummage underneath there and see what's going on. We actually might even get some rain. It's got really dark here. It's a crazy thing to say for England. We might get rain. Although recently, kind of desperately in need. As I think over half the country is currently in drought, and the rest of it is in a bit of danger of drought. But the coast definitely could use some, because it will help get a few more fossils out the cliffs, which we definitely need as well. I can kind of answer that last bit. Yeah, so Shirley's talking about the fact we're having some big fires and a big chunk of our national trust sites just being taken out. We don't tend to get fires here. Fires are a relatively new thing in the British nature system, and it's because we're not normally hot, or we're not normally hot enough and dry enough for there to be a regular fire season here, and so we don't have a forest which replenishes itself with fires, and in the case of some of the redwoods require fires to actually start the next generation. Here it's a new thing, a combination of, as I said, the increased heat. We were at a record for number of days over 34 degrees C at the beginning of July, and so it's not going to be a better year for it, and not just the heat, but the fact that, as we've said, we're in drought, and so there's a lot less water coming from the sky, and everything is getting very dry and very crispy, and people are not used to this being such a big risk, and so we have a lot of, let's say, naive people. They're obviously the malicious ones, but mostly I think people are naive to the effects and the risks of fires and even cigarette butts and parking your car over dry grassy areas, which they're not the same, or there is less of the naivety in the States about it, especially where fires are a regular occurrence. And so yeah, we just aren't used to it and aren't equipped for it in the same way, and yeah, unfortunately climate change is coming, and it is changing, and it's very easy to see it here. Whether this is going to be a long-term issue and how it becomes an issue longer term will be interesting to see, because of what will happen with the Gulf Stream, and how that the warm waters coming up from the tropics keep Europe and England, well, the United Kingdom and Ireland particularly, relatively warm, and whether that goes a wonk, we will see. But yeah, it's just been a very, very dry, very hot set of years. We've had a lot more fires. And yeah, I mean, we don't have our bear mascot saying only you can prevent fires. We don't have any of that here, or at least haven't had that. If you drive to the or drive to the coast. Actually, in most of the areas you'll see signs up now basically saying extreme fire warning, don't light bonfires and all the rest. So it is something that people are trying to get made aware of, and I think unfortunately it's going to take a lot of fires for people to start to understand just how serious it is. And unfortunately that is not the ideal way for it to happen, is that it's going to end up needing a lot of houses to burn and a lot of people to get hurt, and I don't want that to be the case. But I fear that's usually the thing that takes what it takes for people to adjust their behaviors long term. But we keep our fingers crossed that's not the case, and we do our best and we do our part to keep people educated and try and limit our behaviors that can cause fires, and equally try and reduce our water usage and all the rest, so that we're not stripping quite so much water out of the ecosystem. And broadly, it's part of the reason we put solar panels on our house, not strictly for fires, but as part of the whole climate change thing, is if we can reduce the amount of energy we're drawing off a grid that's still mostly provided by natural gas. I say natural gas loosely, but fossil fuel gas. Yeah, and we are helping even in a small way. Anyway, enough yapping on climate, and back to prepping. I think we've down to pretty much as far as it can go. This one's pedestaled more or less completely. So yeah, just see if we can expose this, and then decisions on this chunk. Yeah, so the pedestal I'm hopeful should stay, because I don't know if you'll be able to see this particularly well, but so we've got ammonite whorl section is that line there, and then there is a section of matrix underneath it. So there is a layer of matrix between this top ammonite and this one, at least in some bits. In this side, it is literally ammonite sat on top of shell on shell. But on this side, there is actually a matrix gap going down to the mid. And it's one of those that the more I look at this one, the more it's tempting me to remove it. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because yeah, it's a bit imperfect, and I know it sounds an odd thing for me to say when I'm normally such a proponent of keeping imperfect fossils, but when you've got this many other ones, yeah, we'll see. Right, that's about as good as it's going to get with its pedestal. There's a bit of smoothing on this side to be done, and obviously this pedestal can get slowly worked back, but the center ammonite we're not going to see an awful lot more of, just because it would it can't be exposed without taking off this pedestal or this ammonite, and whilst it is tempting, you probably shouldn't. So yeah, that's where we're at, and so we'll just do a bit of tidying. We'll try and tidy off this little bit of matrix here, tidy the back of this, have a look at this one, and then we will have a look at this little bit here. We might re-glue everything before touching it, and just see where we're at. But yeah, it's not too bad. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ammonites still there. We had another 1, 2, 3 more, was it? So yeah, there's quite a few more other little ones. I've still got the teeny tiny little one from the other day, which needs I might just have a look, see if I can put the tip anywhere near that and see if the middle might come out, just because it's a joke how small that one is. But yeah, there are quite a few in Dremel blocks. Yeah, pleased with how it's going. Still quite a bit to do, but we're getting there.
too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
So yeah, we've got no middle on this, or not even another whirl, but as far as I can tell. I might take it a little further down, but I'd expect to see about where it is actually the next whirl appearing, and there's a few broken bits of shell which make me think it's not going to be there. I mean, that plus the whole mess shape of it makes me think it's got no middle, but we'll just do a little bit more tidying. But ultimately I suspect this will just get ground out. We'll remove a little bit more matrix around here to just see if we can get that sort of shell appearance on it rather than the matrix. And then might quickly grab a drink, and then we'll come back and have a look, see at that. But yeah, not surprising about that one. That one's never expected to have a middle when we first looked at it, so it's yeah, not surprising it doesn't. So I'm just going to have a quick break. I don't know if you can hear the little man has just returned from his day out, but I'm going to go grab a quick drink and then we'll be back to see if we can take a bit of matrix off.
Shut.
Yeah, that's the computer showing the fossils. Just a little helper has come in to say hello, but yeah, we'll take a quick break. I'll just make sure the little man doesn't get into the fossils and the tools. Can't have him being better than me at prep, not yet at least. We'll be back in a second. Yeah, text is really useful when it's there and you can read it. I appreciate not super legible when it's sat on top of a grey fossil and it's a dark bit of text, but yeah, yeah. So we are going to chance it now, and I don't think it's going to do too much, but we'll take this bit very slowly. I suspect it's going to just come out in one little big chunk, if I'm honest, but I would like to keep this shell in place. So yeah, we'll just work this down slowly and just see how it goes. I don't believe it'll take this ammonite out. I hope not, at least. Yeah, we'll just see how we go. Hey Paul, hope you are having a good day. You've joined us just in time to hopefully be finishing up this fun Dremel block. So we're just going to remove this lump of matrix and then have a look at finishing it while smoothing down all the bits and pieces around all the ammonites and see what's what. Yeah, hey Katie. This is the block from yesterday, so quite a lot's changed since you would have seen it then if you've only just joined. So this one we did get that bit off, although a little bit is broken irreparably. So it's just a slight flat edge on that corner, pressed down to expose the ammonite underneath. Just removing this bit of matrix at the top here to try and get this one to be a bit more freestanding, to try and get a bit more of this keel, but also just to link the two sides a little better as it comes through. And we'll see as we're going down if we can rescue any more of these bivalves, because I quite like it as they link up. But yeah, thankfully also not too hot, so it's been cloudy and overcast most of the day, and a threat of rain actually, but none has fallen, just a threat. But hope you're well. Hope you're prepping something fun. And annoyingly, my little bivalve that I didn't want to come off has actually just popped out. I haven't done anything to it, just vibrated out, so just just see if that'll go back in nicely. Because I don't want it to leave, funnily, even though it's an ammonite block. I think that bivalve in particular is well placed and adds to it. That one too, and the one I've kept down here, nice, just to have a few other bits scattered through. I don't need my fossils to just be ammonites. But yeah, we'll have to go the old-fashioned way and give it some glue, and then give it a few minutes just to think about what it's done and see if it'll set again. But we will have to see. And as you can hear in the background, as the shed rattles some more, it's a little breezy here, which is quite nice, helping keep the temperature very pleasant in the shed today, which is nice. But yeah, the light grey matrix in the Dremel blocks, it is fun to prep, but it because it's soft and it kind of crumbles, but it does have the side effect that sometimes it crumbles in places you don't want it to crumble. So if you are just chasing ammonites and just want all the matrix off, it's really helpful. I could even, like, if you have a look at the other side of, so there's the bivalve, is where my finger is, but you might see all the little lines and where there's actually glue coming through at the back, because this whole section is just kind of crumbled. So it does give it a different challenge that not necessarily one you want. And we ran glue around the back of this ammonite across some of the little cracks as well yesterday, just because they were all threatening to come apart in ways that we didn't want. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it as we go. But yeah, we've got a little bit more prep work to do on this ammonite here, on this edge. It's looking a bit crispy calcite, but they are the Hyundai family. They tend to have multiple layers of shell, so if you can get the shell to come off and just get the internal Steinkern effectively, they work and look quite nice. But yeah, we'll just give that a few more minutes whilst I'm just yappering away, just killing some time. But yeah, I think I'll then go fine pen just to see if I can remove this, because I think there's a bivalve here which we could use, this one here, and then I think there's one there, and then we could use that as sort of the framing of this and remove most of this matrix down, and I think that would look fine without taking too much. Because yeah, that as you see then becomes a very real risk of things just all going to hell in a hurry. Nice to hear your fret box is that close to being done, Sean. I'm pleased to hear it. I know that was addressed to Katie, but I'm happy to hear it too. And yeah, just bear with. Sorry, it does take a few minutes just to get that to dry. I don't have the magic quick setting spray to do it, so I just need to let it go because it will take a little longer to dry on the inside. And the last thing we want is just to all explode just because I've been a little impatient. You're in 4TC. Oh, you are somewhere far more fun than we are then, Katie. I hope wherever you are is nice in the heat and not just unpleasant. I think we are done as far as trying to prep things out. This whole section, which we just knocked the top off of just to try and make it sort of flow nicer from front to back with a couple of bridging bivalves, it's on the absolute verge of falling to all sorts of pieces. So there's basically where this bivalve is an apparent line that runs through up to the back of that ammonite across it, because it's actually sat on another big bivalve. In and around this one, it comes back around. There's cracks that run all the way through. Yeah, it's about as close to all coming apart as I am willing to risk it. And whilst I'm talking about it, I'm just going to run a few more blobs of glue in and around just to try and avoid it coming apart before I do some grinding. Because the last thing I want is my entire block coming to pieces, having spent a few hours working on it. Yeah, hopefully not boom, but yes, I would not be surprised if it all decided to just crumble away. This whole section, I think, could come out. And I don't, weirdly, not the end of the world, I don't think, as far as the actual ammonites, I think it would leave all of them in place-ish. This one I would be worried about. But yeah, if this came out, I think we'd still have all the ammonites, but then I fear that it would not be held together by an awful lot, and then there's a very real risk that they do just crumble away. I did like having some of the bivalves just fall off though, so that one fell off and made prep a bit easier actually when it came out. And I might have a quick look if any of this is actually preppable whilst that glue is drying. And then yeah, we'll do a quick grind and see what we can just smooth out. Yeah, it's not perfect, but as you can see, hopefully if it focuses in and it's a bit varnished up, it should be okay. Just giving it a bit of a quick rub with my thumb just to show what it should look like, but that should be okay. So yeah, we'll get the grinding tool out and just have a look what we can do. I suspect the honest answer is it's just a bit around here. And I might actually just put a small chisel tip on this just to smooth this initially. And then yeah. bit of both at the minute, Jason. We've got grinder coming in for bits of it, chisel being used for other bits. It's a bit of a challenge in some places to get the grinder into, so where possible it is being ground, but at the same time some things have to be chiseled just to smooth it initially, and then we'll see if we can get the grinder in later. Right, I think that will have to do for now. I think a dental grinder would be the only way to do some of these tiny gaps. So I was going to give it a quick rinse just to get the last of the dust off. Then asked about whether I'll do wax or paraloid, and the answer is probably wax, just because it'll help cover up a few of those little teeny dings on these things, on these little bivalves. So that's what I think will likely happen. We might do a bit of both, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, let me just give it a quick rinse and I'll be back with you in a second. Yeah, right. And having done all that, I've just realised that I haven't actually smoothed the pedestal down, so there's still a little bit to do. That may just have to wait for a bit of off-screen, because I'm not going to get it dry enough to actually do anything with right now. And I'm just trying to quickly give it a quick wipe down and realise that there's still quite a lot of dust on it. Right, so we will not be right back. We are back. Let's get rid of the text. Bonk. Yeah, so there we go. Pedestal, as I said, I just realised needs to grind itself. But this should give you an idea pretty close to what it'll look like when it's got all its finish on, with the sort of the correct level of shine and covering up all manners of sin and all that usual joy. So yeah, it's I could grind while wet. It's that I'm not going to be able to grind it and then get it wet, then put the finish on it, because the finish doesn't go on whilst the thing's still wet, and it'll still be wet for a little bit. But you could do it. You'd also just likely make your grinders all a bit scummy if you grind whilst everything's wet. You basically turn to mud. But you could do it. I'm just not going to. So apologies if you are hoping to see the ultimate final finished product right now. I'm going to, I think, leave it there, but it gives you a pretty darn good idea of what it's going to look like, and I will try and get it done before the next stream. But if not, we can at least put the varnish on next stream. I'll get the pedestal ground down before you next see anything for sure. But yeah, I unfortunately also have to scoot, which is part of the reason I'm not going to finish it right now. It's not just laziness, but family commitments. So I need to go do some stuff with my son and my wife. But pretty pleased with that. It's not perfect, but not too shabby. When will we be doing the small bone block? That is a good question. I am away at the end of next week, so I suspect it will have to wait until I am back. Trevor is the honest answer. And having never done a bone block, really, I'm not sure how it's going to go. And so it's just deciding whether or not I want to touch it just yet, or if I sit on it for a bit longer. Because yeah, I've got a few fishy blocks which I appreciate are not the same in terms of prep, but might be better to get an idea of what I need to do with bone. because the sum total of all the bone I have prepped is a little bit of a vert, which isn't finished, but I had started on it and was just trying to figure out what it's like. So we'll just have to see, because yeah, I don't want to pick up something and find out it's incredibly rare and have already ruined it. So we'll just have to see. Yeah, we'll see. Part of it's also being a little bit of a coward and not wanting to challenge myself too much. But yeah, we will get to it. It's just not for a little bit, unfortunately. Because yeah, as I said, at the end of next week I'm away for a week. So we'll just have to see what we can get done in the interim, and if anyone's got any strong preferences, we'll see what we can do. Comments in the video, either chat or in the comments section when this video goes live, and I'll see if I can get one of those fossils prepped next week in the prep streams that I'm on. It's very kind, Trevor. I do appreciate the offer. Yeah, I'll say we'll see how we get on. But yeah, I will not be picking up the bone block until I'm back at minimum. Just because I don't want to start something and then have it in my mind that I need to try and get it done before I go. I'd like to give myself the headspace to not rush it. So I do appreciate the offer, and yeah, we'll pick it up probably in September. If not, actually next month is yeah, I'd say mid August, early September we'll pick it up. But yeah, I'm not back for prep on Monday. I do apologize, but I'm out on a tour, so I will be back hopefully Tuesday and Wednesday and maybe Thursday, but we'll see how everything is getting on with work commitments. And then Friday I am out of the country and just over to Ireland with my family. So yeah, we will then be gone for about a week. So we'll try and get some stuff prepped next week in the few days that I have. But we'll be keeping it fairly straightforward and simple, I hope, in that time. Yeah, cheers everyone for watching. I hope you are all in for a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you all next week. And, look after yourselves, be safe, and we'll catch you soon.